streamers that like to teach and have different skills and abilities. And it's all going to be focused for the next week or so, guys, on job interview, job interview, job interview. So if that's you and you wanted to learn more about it, we can't be your everything here. We try to be, but again, it's a good chance to find other personalities and people who are dedicated here. Some do it by themselves, some have a co-host, but that way you'll see who the serious educators and teachers, live streamers here as far as learning languages. So I'm looking forward to that. We're scheduled for 3 hours tomorrow. So when I get home tonight, I'm going right to bed. And that way I'll wake up refreshed and have coffee. So I talk about these things and I start to yawn. Trust me, guys, I had plenty of rest this weekend. Please save your lectures about getting rest. I had 3 days off and didn't do a darn thing. But I'm also cat watching. So today after live stream, I have to ride 45 minutes on my one wheel to get to my friend's house and then spend about an hour or two with his cat and then ride home and then go to sleep before work. So ready to go.
Great arrangement.
Great arrangement in what?
No, I just want to say I had a dizziness or migraine about my head before the live stream, but it is better now.
Oh, good. Okay. That's better than saying the opposite. Like, I was feeling fine, but you started talking, Jonathan. Now I have a migraine.
No.
It's better. Well, guys, we are going to welcome you to the stage. We'll probably limit it just to see who wants to be on stage for this topic because it's very informational, meaning we're going to read over a series of slides together and hopefully whet your appetite, get you into a position where you want to delve deeper into each one of these slides or a few of these slides. But it's very informational, understanding the process of learning in general, and then you can find out where you are in there. Some of it, like I said in the opening, you will do naturally. Many people have natural gifts and abilities. Other things you'll have to learn and develop. And some of it might actually just be something we have to focus on to help you to comprehend, to develop. But you might be missing or underdeveloped in one of these components, and it could be why you don't learn as quickly as others, or why it's a challenge for you to remember what you did learn. So it's a process, Candy. It's a process.
I also need to have the process to know how to learn well, no matter it is related to the English or some other schools.
Yes, and I'm going to send it to you right now because I should have did that before. Can you hear me? Okay, cool.
Yeah, but
All right,
I
I'm
want
frozen.
to. Oh, yeah, I took the screenshot.
Thank you. I have to give you your collection. There we go. Oh. All right. So I sent it to you now on your WeChat, and
Yeah,
maybe you
I
can,
received.
that way you can read it. I did make slides out of it though, guys. So let's see who's raising their hands. Carmen, I think we do know you, so this can work out. Let's get Carmen on stage. Everybody, save your hands. We're trying to. Hi, Carmen.
Hello.
I'm
Hi,
I'm
everyone.
I'm happy it's you because we have very informational live stream today, which means I'm going to bring slides up here and ask you and Candy to read them. We'll do the overview. We'll try to make it through the slides first, and then we can go back to the first one and go a little deeper in commenting about it. Does that sound okay?
Yeah, it is okay for me.
Did you have any questions before we start, Carmen?
I don't know how to do.
You don't know how to read?
You will have the PowerPoint, and we will have the material that we can
Yeah,
read.
it's going
Okay.
to be okay. Yeah, and we'll get that started right now. Let me upload the file real quick. And they keep all of the files before they used to erase, so it makes it harder. Let me upload a file. And oh, it's right there. Wow, that's kind of cool. Let's see if it's loading. It's loading. Give it a moment, guys, and then we'll get it loaded. Then we'll see if it shows up on your screens. And yeah, planning a trip to Philadelphia in November, Candy.
Oh,
Yeah, I haven't been able to get a hold of my mom in Solvang in several attempts. So I don't know if she's dealing with her cancer issue or what's going on. But my mom in Philadelphia called me the other day. So she's excited about me coming out and playing bingo again.
he misses you so much.
I know I don't like to play bingo, but I enjoy spending time with her. So let's see. Yes, I want to share this file. Let's see what happens, guys. We'll see if this pops up here like it's supposed to. All right, it's on my screen. Is it on your screen?
Yes.
Candy's got it. Carmen, can you see the slides or is it black?
It's black and loading.
Oh, good, good, good. At least it says loading. That's great. We'll give it a moment.
Okay. Yes,
Let
I
me.
can.
Good, good, good. Look, everything's working out.
Do you
Uh,
remember I have the same clothes as yours?
I do, I do. I put this on today because it's a little chilly in the morning now, and when I
Oh.
ride, I'll be going. I mean, I want to get there quickly because it takes an hour to recharge my board and then come back, and I want to try to get some rest before work. So I have an agenda. The cat's so cool, though. All right, guys. So understanding the process of learning. This is something I thought about this morning, and people often tell me that they're afraid of speaking English, that they're afraid they're not going to remember the right words, that they're afraid, they're afraid, they're afraid, they're afraid. So the way you overcome fear is through experience, which gives you confidence. And you have to get out there and try it. If you think of anything you're good at, whether it's badminton or other sports, you started and you made mistakes right away, but you were so passionate about it that you kept trying. And eventually, that experience connected together, and then you started to develop skill. So you were no longer afraid, you wanted to try it. And as you talked to other people or watched other people playing, you acquired new skills and abilities in that environment. So it's the same with learning. You have to try. It's the same with speaking. You have to try, and then you make a mistake and you learn and you try again. So we're going to try to understand the process a little bit. Like the process of changing the slide is not working. So we're going to try to figure out why that is. Can you guys not touch your screen? I know there's a problem. Somebody's touching their screen trying to figure out this PowerPoint thing. It allows everyone to touch the screen now. Isn't that weird, Candy?
No, it's not. It's not me.
No, it's Eva. It says their name there. Yeah, people are trying to maybe. So guys, when it comes on, it automatically has like the writing tool selected, which again is not cool. So let's see if I can do this. Do this. It
You
won't
can.
let me. It won't let me change slides. There's Ruba trying it out also. I think it's because everyone's doing that. They're trying to change the slide or whatever, and it's got their pencil selected. So let's see. Well, we have a plan B.
Um. Okay, you can send the material to Carmen.
I shouldn't I? Let me do that. There you go. There you go, Carmen.
Yes, I got this.
Okay, cool. And we'll also bring up the PowerPoint on my iPad so I can give some visuals. Sorry, guys, I've been meaning to tell Hello Talk about that glitch. And I don't think a lot of people use the slide opportunity. There we go. Yeah, we'll do it like this. It'll work out, right? So view. Give me a moment, guys. I had expected it to work. There we go. All right, cool. So understanding the process. Here we go. Maybe we'll turn this off. That didn't work either, did it? Kind of, sort of, kind of. So, yeah, this is working well. It's just not working on there. All right, can we read the first slide, guys? The process of learning. Candy, you want to read that?
Okay. Oh no, no. The process of learning can be broken down into several key stages, each contributing to deeper understanding and retention of knowledge. Here is an overview of how learning typically unfolds.
Awesome.
Do I need to read the first one or just stop?
Not yet.
Okay.
Let's talk about this. So attention and engagement is the first one. Attention and engagement. So we were talking about this just a moment ago, and we won't be able to comment on each one of these too much because there's a lot of information that we can go back. So attention and engagement, the first step is capturing your attention. Carmen, can you read that one? Attention and engagement.
Okay. Attention and engagement. First step is capturing attention and staying engaged with the material. Without focus, information is unlikely to be processed effectively. Engagement is enhanced by curiosity, relevance, and motivation.
Absolutely. And your audio pops in and out for some reason. I don't know why it does that.
Oh,
But the first step is it sounds like this. The first step is capturing attention and staying engaged with the material. So that's why teachers will use overheads and videos and things to capture your attention. Without focus, the information is unlikely to be processed effectively. So if they don't keep your attention, it's not likely to be captured by your brain, right? So they try hard to keep your attention. Engagement is enhanced by curiosity, relevance, and motivation. So, of these three things, curiosity, relevance, and motivation, which one gets your attention the most, Candy?
Uh,
Curiosity,
I
relevance, or motivation?
I think it is motivation for me.
Motivation for
Is
you?
the is the most factor to let me know how to have a better understanding of my process of learning.
Okay. Okay. What about you, Carmen? Curiosity, relevance, or motivation? Which one of these is what keeps you engaged when you're trying to practice English?
maybe I think the curiosity drives me to learn more. Yeah.
Oh, okay, interesting. And relevance, of course, guys, it means like how it's related to work. So, like Candy would, if she needed to learn it for work, it's relevant to her job. So, that would be a motivation factor. Curiosity is I wonder how to speak my thoughts in English. I'm just curious. I mean, it's really cool
Mm.
how people can do that. And then motivation would be any number of things to succeed or to meet your final goal if you're goal oriented. So it's important to know what keeps you engaged. If I sat here and we read 7 or 9 slides, we would lose most of you by the second or third slide if we weren't processing it like this, if I wasn't expounding on it. So I'm trying to focus on how much time we have and keeping the attention of the two ladies on the stage, as well as stirring up some engagement with those people in the audience. And it can be challenging. Sometimes you can get everybody engaged, and if you move too quickly to the next slide, you lose people. And sometimes if you stay too long on the first slide, you lose people. They're like their attention span is really short, or they don't feel that the information we're sharing is relevant. So we try to put different lights on in the background. try to move around, and retain engagement. Let's go to the next slide. Attention, and this one's acquisition of knowledge, meaning the input, how you acquire it. It's Candy's turn to read again. Candy, can you read this?
Okay, thank you. This is when new information is introduced through reading, listening, observing, or practicing. During this phase, the brain takes in the new raw data that needs to be learned.
So, how you're getting it, your input. Think of a computer. You have input. Now, not so much these days. Everything's from the web and wirelessly transmitted. But it used to be we had to plug stuff into the computer, and that was the route of input. But now it's done wirelessly through the web. So, it's when information is introduced. So, what are your strengths? Is your strength reading? Is your strength listening or observing? Or practicing, actually doing things like with dialogue. Which one of those is your strength? Candy, which one is your strength, would you say?
I think as for now, I prefer to say my stress is to speak with others in English, because I like speaking English with others to practice my English and improve listening, because when I communicate with others, it also the way that helped me to improve my listening. And
Awesome, awesome. Very good answer. And Carmen, what about you? What would you say is your input of choice?
As for me, I think uh, mm, listening and repeating are my strengths during this aspect.
Good, good, good. And so knowing what your preferred version of input is really important. Practicing the ones you don't prefer can also be very useful because at times your typical way of input isn't working or there's not enough in that environment to feed you, and you have to go to one of the other versions of input. So it's okay to have your favorite, but it's also beneficial to learn other forms of input that can help round off your learning. And you might find if you do it consistently, you might enjoy the other versions. It's like listening to English versus just reading a book in English. It's like talking in English, or actively engaging in listening and also creating the dialogue so you can practice it. There's so many combinations. But at first, to get your attention, to get your motivation, you should go to the one that you enjoy the most, that keeps your attention span. Remember, if we don't have your attention, the information isn't going to stick. So kids go to college, they don't like the professor, they have a hard time in that class, right? Or they don't like that topic, they have a hard time in that class, but somehow they have to learn how to acquire the information so that it sticks and they can pass the test. So that's why college is supposed to develop us all into being multifaceted or having many ways in which we can learn, ways we prefer, ways we don't prefer, but we're still going to get the information because we're determined or we're dedicated, right? Does that make sense?
of
Like
course,
to, of course, but of course, je ne comprends pas. I was going to write things on the whiteboard, and then I realized I took all of my whiteboard markers to work. I don't know why I did that. There's like 40 of them, all these different colors and everything I took to work. So I don't have it. Let's go to the next one. This is a brief overview, everybody. We're interacting to stay engaged, but we can go deeper on each one of these, or those of you in the audience can have a chance during a live stream in the future. Tomorrow we have a different topic, but comprehension and understanding, Carmen. Can you read this?
Yes, can you hear me?
We can.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Comprehension and understanding. After acquiring the information, the learner works to understand by making connections to prior knowledge, summarizing key points, and or explaining it in their own words. Active processing, such as asking questions, discussing, or reflecting, is key to comprehension.
All right. Now, did you comprehend what you read, or were you too focused on the big words?
I need to translate the word's meaning.
It's okay. It's okay. Whatever your process is, I know sometimes when we're reading, it's hard to have the input at the same time. So, acquiring information and processing the information. So, to understand it is to be able to retain it. Because when you understand it, you're going to connect it with other things that you understand, then it's associated with other things. You know, like if you're learning a new way to cook, it's important to understand it, how it connects with what you already know about cooking or exercise or whatever. Driving a car is pretty standard, but if you drove a different type of car or equipment, you would have the basic understanding, but you'd have to acquire how this works, how that works a little bit differently. And then you'd bring those two things together and your skills would transfer over, but they'd be enhanced, right? So learning English is the same way. You avoid a lot of the difficult, uninteresting parts of learning English. For some, it's the English structure and verbs and nouns and adjectives, and you just practice communicating. And for others, they'd rather learn the structure of the language first and then get into conversational. So you got to know how you learn, but you don't want to waste time. So it's important that you comprehend it. Candy?
Yeah, I just want to give you hint that I want to say something.
I know, I know.
So my question is that you mentioned the format of the verb or noun or a, a adjective.
Mm-hmm.
So are you confused about the format of the noun or verb or adjective? Because it is pretty hard for us, for Chinese students, to remember all the details about the format of some English words. So do you have any confusion, or are you struggling for remembering this?
Well, I think I am an anomaly. Anomaly? Anybody know that word?
An anomaly?
Mm-hmm. I have to look it up. I don't even know how to spell it. Anomaly? Anybody can write that word for us in the chat?
Anomaly.
It is. That's it. That looks right. Um, and Rahwa, we tried to use the Hello Talk slideshow feature, but it malfunctioned. So this text is not available. I was going to send it to you, but you put GIFs only on there for your messages, so I can't send it to you without paying to send it to you. So that's not going to happen. But I can send it to you if you want to read. No, not unnormally. It sounds the same, May. Anomaly. Candy wrote it there. I wrote it there. Anomaly. So what does it mean, Candy? Did you look it up?
It is it is the opposite of normal.
Okay, that's pretty easy. That's an easy way of saying it. I don't believe it would just say that in a definition, but
Out of the normal situation.
yeah, abnormal, not usual. Yeah. So or not typical. So for me, I couldn't describe to you a lot of the English rules or grammar rules because I did poorly in school. Everything I have learned is through basically shadowing, just imitating other people to find out how it's done. I mean, I'm listening for my dogs. A package just arrived, and they didn't bark. That's good. So for me, through use and through observation, and I acquired the ability to speak English properly. And I think it's an anomaly because I'm not even sure how it happened. but my brain knows, like it knows how to edit, how to correct what's right, what's wrong, but I can't describe to you often why it's wrong. I just like, nope, that's not it. That's not the right word. So it's like an editor download I had. Hi, Doris. It's great to see you, Doris. Those of you who you can't see what we're reading, and I know we're using some big words, and I don't want to leave you out. So if you have access, um, if I can touch on your messaging, I'll send you what we're reading right now. But if you have the gift thing up there, like some ladies put the gift thing up there to stop guys from texting them for no reason, I understand it. I don't want to go broke sending you guys paying to send you information. It's a little bit backwards. So let me know if you've taken that off, and then I can send you what we're reading. This is just an overview, everybody. We're going to go through this a little deeper, um, maybe one slide at a time. And I'll contact Vicky and tell her that the slide thing's not working. Or we might be able to use like a Zoom meeting. Now, Candy said it's easier to access Zoom, but several people in China countered that yesterday on my live stream in the evening and said, no, can't use Zoom. So maybe they haven't tried lately, Candy, or what? But
Oh,
so this is comprehension and understanding. Comprehension and understanding. We're going to get into storing in your memory. Now, how many people out there in the chat feel that they have a challenge remembering or recalling the things that they've studied? Anybody? I know ladies on stage, almost everybody can raise their hand. Again, I'm trying to stir up engagement. This is a technique. So people often will tell me that. It's pretty often. They'll say, I study so many words, but I can't remember them when I'm talking to someone. I get nervous. I'm afraid, all that other stuff. So you have to develop that pathway through practice. So we're going to be talking about how to store it in your memory. It can be called encoding. You guys know computer? Encoding is when they're storing processes in a computer to have the computer recall or do something, kind of like using code in Excel where you can make the cells do something if and then, if this is this number, whatever. So it's called encoding, but storing in your memory, you're doing it every day. And wouldn't it be nice to know how to do it better? So let's read this one. I think it's Candy's turn to read. Candy, can you read this one, please?
learning happens when the information is stored in memory. This step involves encoding the information into long-term memory through repetition, elaboration, and association with existing knowledge. Sleep, rest, and proper nutrition also play a role in strengthening memory storage.
There we go. There we go. So I'm trying to send it to some of you, but apparently I can't even cut and paste and send you something until I've had 5 messages. So unfortunately, maybe Candy can send it while I'm discussing some things. Can you send, if anybody, if you want to text Candy 5 times, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just send her 5 messages, and then she can cut and paste the things that we're reading to each of you. And I'll get some good screenshots of her face freezing. Oh boy, they're blowing you up, huh? Katie's like,
You
thanks,
can
Johnathan.
hear you can
I
hear
can,
the sound of the vibration, right?
yes, or maybe you're massaging your arm with a machine. I don't know, but I'm hearing.
No, it is a vibration. I received the message now.
Yeah, there you go. So we're working around Hello Talks. Their file sharing doesn't seem to be working well, guys, and so I've sent them information to these ladies, and they're reading it. This is an overview. So if you're serious about staying with us on this, then ask us. If you're in our group chats, we could just send it to both groups, Candy. That might alleviate some of that. So
Okay.
Candy's going to send it to our groups because I recognize some of these names. So if you're in our study group, she's going to send it to both groups now. That will take out some of these. Cool. So Candy was talking about storage in memory. Learning happens when the information is stored in your memory. This step involves encoding the information into long-term memory through repeating it or discussing it, elaborating about it, or associating with an existing knowledge. Remember, we talked about the keys to remembering vocabulary, and I used a set of keys because if you associate new vocabulary with old vocabulary or old phrases, it's easier to encode it and remember. So that's kind of a trick. If you're just learning vocabulary in general, then either associate that vocabulary with things you're already saying or you feel comfortable talking about, or learn one genre of vocabulary at the same time, like one category of vocabulary. Don't learn phrases at a coffee house, advanced business vocabulary, and the weather, how to describe the weather as a meteorologist, because they're all unassociated. And you might feel accomplished at the end of your day because you checked off all your list and made your sentences and looked away and looked at the list, looked away and looked at the list, and you got a few of them right. But tomorrow or next week, you'll need access to that information and you'll go, where'd I put it? Well, you put it all over the place. It's scattered all over the place. So giving it a place where you can encode it. And then, of course, Candy's going to harp on me about this, getting plenty of sleep and rest, proper nutrition play a role, because when you rest, your brain reorganizes. It sorts things and puts them in the proper place. If you're not getting enough rest, that connection between recalling is going to be hindered, right? Also, if you don't eat right, you feel sludgy, you feel kind of when you eat poorly, right? If you go to McDonald's, which I don't think anybody should ever, ever, ever go to McDonald's again, but if you should go eat that poison, you're going to feel sludgy.
Sludgy.
Sludgy, like
Sludgy.
like like when your sink doesn't drain and you pull up the plunger and there's hair and old soap. It's sludge. It's that's why the sink's not draining. That's why you're not remembering. Interesting
But
fact.
so
Go ahead.
many people in China just have the McDonald's and fast food a lot than before.
Yeah, yeah. Anybody out there eat aluminum on purpose? Does anybody like to eat aluminum?
Oh, I don't think so.
What?
Why people
Aluminum.
It's in
just
the it's in the French fries. So the salt that they use has sodium, it has sugar, which increases addiction, and it has aluminum.
wow.
So three ingredients in the salt from McDonald's. And of course, too much aluminum in our bodies causes dementia or Alzheimer's, loss of memory. So we don't need additional sources of aluminum in our diet.
My my,
Um,
my
yeah,
supervisor just told me, Candy, you have a bad memory to remember our tasks. But I try my best to remember most of my works. But here it is a thing. My supervisor just told me, Candy, you need to go to the hospital for checking up, because I don't think you have a good memory, and you need to check up to check what's wrong with your brain. So I don't think
that's
it is.
that's a mean thing. That's a mean thing to say. I don't agree with them because you help us a lot. You summarize so well, and you remember things that I don't. So I think they're joking with you, or they're I
It
don't want to
is
say
not joking.
harsh words.
It's
I well,
it's
I don't want to say harsh words about that person, but they're incredibly wrong. They're incredibly wrong. I would say. So moving right along. There's water on my board. So that was storage. Again, guys, we can go deeper in each one of these. We can use this as a weekly topic. And we have sent it to everyone. Hi, Venus D. I'm not inviting more people on stage because this, knowing Carmen's level of comprehension and Candy's interaction obviously seems beneficial to what we're doing today. I don't want to add an unknown factor. And so please forgive me, guys. Tomorrow, excuse me, guys.
no
Tomorrow
problem.
we have another scheduled live stream already scheduled tomorrow about job interview strategies, and I don't even know what the rest of my week looks like. So let's keep going. I think it is time for Carmen to read the next one: practice and application.
Okay. Practice and application. Practice solidify, right? Am I right?
Solidifies. Yeah, close. Very, very close. Practice solidifies.
Practice solidifies learning. This could involve doing exercises, applying concepts in real life situations, or teaching others. Spaced repetition, revisiting material over time, and varied practice enhance retention.
Awesome. Great job. Great job on that one. And so you see that we have been using this approach in our live streams, right? I encourage you guys to use role playing, right? To do dialogues, to create stories, to really saturate yourself in different forms of the same information, and then to revisit it. Even the transcribing that Doris Wu helped me to create the YouTube video about transcription, even after you know what you wrote and you grade what you've written. When you listen to that audio again in a day or two, you will write down not only exactly what's being said, but the proper way to write it with the proper grammar. So that reinforces with your brain whenever you hear that word or that sentence, how to write it. And so these are proven techniques. This isn't my information. I gathered this information and compiled it together for you. But this is other people saying this, that practice solidifies learning, doing exercises, applying the concepts in real life, which includes role playing or dialogue practicing, or teaching it to others when you have to teach people. So I invite people to get a study partner that's a little bit further along than they are, and a study partner that they have to teach what they know and how they know it. And this process keeps your brain in a very healthy cycle of learning and applying the information that you're acquiring. ¿Entiendo? ¿Todo sabes?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. All right, guys, again, just an overview. You can see how we could have a topic thing about this. We're going to get through this within the next few minutes, and then we can talk with several people about it. I have a 90-minute schedule today so that I can go on a little road trip, a little 3-hour adventure. This one's feedback and adjustment, and I think we're back to Candy, right?
Okay.
Okay, cool.
Feedback allows learners to correct mistakes and refine their understanding. This might come from self-reflection, external evaluations, or discussion with others. The ability to adapt based on the feedback is critical to growth and improvement.
Critical. What does critical mean? Can you think of any
Uh,
way to describe critical?
mm, Critical is important.
Yeah, that's putting it lightly. Like air is critical to living.
Yeah,
It's of the highest importance, right?
important.
So, yeah, it's the highest importance. It's very critical. You go to critical care, that means people need urgent interaction from hospital workers. They're in critical care. They're very serious. They need a lot of help. So critical to growth and employment, improvement, the ability to adapt based on feedback. So those of you who are afraid of trying because you might make a mistake, you do not have a healthy learning process, right? You have to try. You have to make mistakes so you can learn. You can get feedback. You can adapt. You can adjust. You can refine. This is all critical to learning, right? It's critical. You need feedback and you need adjustment. So if you avoid trying because you're afraid of feedback and adjustment, I don't think you're going to make it. And we don't want to hear a doctor looking at us and say that, right? Um, I don't think you're going to make it. That's not good news. So if your goal is to learn English, you need all these things we're talking about in full play. Remember, learning a new language is like becoming an athlete. It takes the sleep, the diet, the persistence. You have to stay engaged in the whole environment of learning in order to succeed. You can't just do it on the weekends because the rest of the week you'll probably lose a high percentage of what you thought you learned. So it's really important. Candy does this often. If I'm not available, if she can't be here, she has study partners she meets with frequently in a consistent way. She's always practicing her English. And when she doesn't get a chance, she'll text me, I did not get a chance to practice my English today.
Yes, yes. I told Jonathan, I think several days ago, I didn't get any chance to practice my English.
I could hear the
But
tears. I could hear the
yeah,
tears just shooting out of her face like a cartoon.
I have so many
Yeah,
tears down there.
She's
I
like,
I chat with someone, they don't reply to
oh,
me.
look over there. Yeah. You tried to practice with someone and he didn't reply to you?
Yes.
See, that's what it's so crazy, to reach out and we have so many people and they don't want to practice. I don't get it. So I unfortunately I end up dismissing them because there's a lot of people in Hello Talk. There's a lot of people that follow us and all of that. But the ones that really want to learn and are consistent, I can spend time with those. It's not normally the person that asks me for time because many people on here, like the gentleman we had last night, he's very serious. He really wanted to learn, but he wasn't making the connection with what I was saying. I was saying what I could do to help him, but I couldn't do what he wanted me to do to help him. It's like you have to grab different teachers and live streamers that can help you in various ways. You got to work it. All right, so that was feedback and adjustment. Now we're into consolidation and reflection. Consolidation and reflection. I know, right? New words. Go ahead, Carmen.
Consolidation and reflection. After practice and feedback, the brain consolidates information, often during sleep and periods of rest. This is when connections between concepts are strengthened. Reflection on what has been learned and how it applies deepens understanding.
Absolutely, absolutely. And in times past, I talked about the evolution of China and how it is modernized now, but at a cost, because there's a lot less reflection in life. With busy cities and fast internet, there's a lot less pondering or reflecting on life. Now, what I'll ask everyone in the chat, China is known for philosophical reflection, right? There's a lot of wise sayings and things that come out of China from thousands of years. Because before they were a modernized country, they had a very rural way of living, a very communal way of living. And so, in that, it afforded them a lot of time for conversation and also reflection, pondering, considering, right? So, they had a very healthy and consistent form of living that was always associated with just peaceable, just casual. You've got time for ceremony, time for families, time for things. And with the infusion of modernization, which they successfully transitioned to being a world leader in many ways, it comes at a great cost because the younger generations don't want to sit and think. They're swiping.
Yeah.
So yeah, in 50 years or more, you're going to see the great cost of choosing to bring that in. Although some would argue it was inevitable that in order for us to stay connected, we have to embrace modernization to some degree.
A lot of youngsters just want to seek the answer. How can they make a lot of money without any efforts?
And money gained without effort is going to be more damaging than useful. So it's within the effort that you grow appreciation and establish commitment, right? The effort for relationships takes a lot of effort. People
Hmm.
don't even want to talk about what they consider a relationship. They don't want to spend time talking to each other about each other's roles and what the expectations are and what the boundaries are. They're like, oh no, that's not needed. Well, that's kind of like getting in a car without knowing where you're going or how to drive it and just hit the pedal. You're going to crash. It's not when, it's if. It's not if, it's when. So the same thing with relationships in life and learning English. Back to the topic, consolidating and reflecting is the way you get the most out of your efforts. You have to sit and let that time of connection happen, and you can't rush to the end, guys. It's going to be, you got, it's the sooner you learn how to enjoy the process, the better, right? So someone in the Olympics didn't just wake up one day and go, that'd be kind of fun. I think I'll do it. Well, except for the girl that's from Australia that was a breakdancer. I think she just woke up and decided to go to the Olympics one day because she didn't do well at all. But for the rest of you, it takes some contemplation, some reflection, awareness of the sacrifice, passion, consistency, yada, yada, yada. All right. So let's go to this one, mastery and transfer, Candy. Mastery and transfer.
Mastery occurs when a learner can use information or skills flexibly in various contexts. Transfer is the ability to apply learned knowledge to new and different situations. The stage signifies to learning, as a learner not only knows the information but can also apply it effectively.
Very
By
good. Hmm.
by cycling through these stages and
Wait.
revisiting
Well,
materials
no. Okay. Go ahead. The big finish.
as,
Go ahead.
as needed, learning becomes a continuous and evolving process.
Right. That's the final one there. Cycling through these stages, revisiting material as needed, learning becomes a continuous evolving process. So mastery, some of you would call it fluency, the ability to develop your own statements and phrases and not just repeat other ones, choice of words and all kinds of things. That's the it's the final level, but it's not the end because you cycle through this process over and over again. Now, you want to change into business vocabulary and conversations, or it just goes on and on and on. So, committing to it as a lifestyle is really important, but you have to stay in this cycle to evolve and get better and better. For some of you, application is the most important thing. So you'll learn phrases before you'll learn structure of sentences. For others, the structure is important before the creativity comes in to make your own sentences. So you got to find out what you do best. One of the reasons I enjoyed um, um, one of the martial arts things I engaged in is because from the very first day, they taught you how to apply what you're learning. Many people in our country go to martial arts training not many people don't go to it, but the people who do go to it, they go because they want to be able to defend themselves or get out of a situation that they feel may occur. So for a dojo to teach you right away some simple moves to apply if you get into a situation so that you can escape and evade. They teach you things right away, even before you understand how to duck walk around to develop your muscles and your discipline and how to roll and how to fall. They teach you things right away that you can use the moment you leave the dojo. Just simple things, but this will create an engagement and an understanding that you're going to learn things that are going to be practical in your life. It's not just feeling silly or learning how to put on a gi or whatever. So, the same with learning English. You have to know that you're advancing, that you're growing, that you're learning, that these things work, but you also have to get into the things that you don't enjoy as much so that you have better results. Yeah. Questions, comments, statements?
I enjoy the process now, and the things I'm trying to do now is to practice my English about my daily life. As for yesterday, we have the team buildings, and when I share with my partners, I will say what did I do, because I think it is the same as Chinese language because I didn't know how to speak with others when I was young in Chinese. But when I listen to others more and more, I can speak and practice my Chinese. So the things that I trying to do is to check in the dictionary about the word like yesterday we did the frisbee activity, and we also do the archery. You know, I tried to learn how to play the archery, but when we fight with each other, the arrow couldn't go out with the competitors. So I stood up there and I don't know how to compete with others because the arrow couldn't go out with another side.
Yeah, it takes time to develop a skill and then do it under pressure. Hi, everybody. I see a lot of chat activity, which is great. There's a lot of information on my profile about where I'm from and kind of an intro if you guys want to learn a little more about me. Um, and fill out your own profile because it really helps people to learn a little bit about you. Um, the ladies here on stage, Candy's our co-host, so she's working in connection with me all the time. She's not she's a student of English, but she's also our co-host. So that's why she's up here. And we limited the stage today up until now because we had a lot of information to cover as an overview. I think each one of these, or maybe two of these at a time, with exercises might really help you all to understand this process better. Today, I just wanted to share the initial time with you, and it was really nice to be able to have Carmen with us. And I'm saying that not to kick Carmen off. Carmen, you're welcome to stay, but
You are
Candy
kicking
usually,
candy.
Candy
You are
usually,
kicking candy. You are kicking candy.
no, it's different sides of the coin. So, yesterday my brother kept texting me when I was riding home from church, and I was trying to get home because I thought I was going to go to work. And every time he texts me, for some reason, he can make his texts come up on his watch, like so he can just look at his watch while he's riding. But mine just says that I got a text. It doesn't say what it is. I have to stop and open my phone. So when my brother texts me, I think it might be important. He might say, "Come back to church," or something's going on. So I stopped and open up the app, and then I'm like, it's just small talk. So I start going again, and I'm like, so after the third one, I said, "Yo, bro, I stop writing every time you text me because it might be important. Can you wait till I get home?" He goes, "You worry too much." I'm like, I'm not worried, but I give you priority. No, you trust me, you worry too much. And I said, look, giving you priority does not mean I'm worried. It means that I value when you text me,
Yeah,
it could be
yeah,
something urgent.
yeah.
So he said, "Oh, yeah, you just worry too much." And he says that probably because I talk a lot and when I'm processing my thoughts. So he gets to hear my thoughts, whereas he's introverted. He doesn't voice his thoughts. So his perception is that I worry a lot because I'm processing things by talking about them. So just differences. But I share that with you guys because the other side of the coin is I'm aware that Candy likes to transition to her evening routine right about now. Don't want her to go, but I know she needs to go to get her rest so her brain slows down. And that is why I transition kicking Candy out about this time
Yeah,
every day.
yeah. He's trying to kick me off for some reason.
You don't have to go to sleep, but you got to get out of here.
Okay.
Oh, no, I'm just kidding. See you later, Candy. Get some good
Bye.
rest.
Bye bye.
Stop thinking about everything we talked about and get some rest.
Okay. Okay. Bye bye.
Bye. So, we didn't invite more people on stage to join us, guys, even though you're right. Technically, there was one more slot. We didn't do that because I know Carmen's level and her interactivity and Candy's, of course. So, it was a good way to overview over all of that. Those of you that didn't get it, um, I can send it to you. We sent it to our study groups. We have two study groups here. We already sent it to those groups. But if you text me, I can send you the information directly. But you'll have to text me 5 things like Hello Talk won't let us send pictures or links, and apparently not cut and paste large amounts of stuff. until you've had 5 messages with me. So send me 5. You can do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and send each one or whatever. And after this, I will send it to you in about an hour. After this, I'm going to ride about 40 minutes on my, can you see it? My one wheel? I'm going to ride on my one wheel about 40 minutes, about 12 miles from here, and go visit my friend's cat. He's out of town, and his cat is so spoiled. His cat has every single toy imaginable. Cat climber, cat this, little mouse, little fish, has everything. So I'm sure the cat is fine, but he asked me to stop in and see the cat, so I'm going to ride there. After I get there, I'll look at all of your messages and I'll send you the information we're talking about today. But Carmen, for the sake of your valuable time, do you have any questions about all of these things that we talked about today?
Yes, I have a question. And how to make a milestone during the process of learning English? Because if I make a if I know if I find a method to prove I make a little improvement, I will be more encouraged to keep going. Yes, but I don't know how to set the milestone.
Absolutely, that is a great one, and I'm going to help you guys by um, I'm going to help you guys by looking something up right now. So let me look this up, and then I can hold it up so you guys can see it. I'm a visual learner, so I think that everyone is visual. I mean, to a degree. So to set a milestone is her question. And there is an acronym we use often here. Gotta find the best image of it, but I think that'll work. Yeah. Okay. So it's called a SMART goal, and milestone is the same as saying goal. To set a goal, a milestone is a phrase used because when you're walking on a hike or when you're driving on the highway, every mile there'll be a sign that says how many miles to or from the border, typically in our country, the border of a state. So you'll see 365, that's the mile marker, because you're 365 miles away from one state or you're getting towards the other one, whatever the case may be. So having a SMART goal, guys, the acronym is SMART, SMART goals. And in this case, it stands for specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely. So specific means don't just say, I want to learn to speak English fluently. That would be a long-term goal. It can be pretty vague. I want to learn to speak English fluently. That's long-term. But short goals or milestones need to be specific. I want to increase my vocabulary by 20 words a month. That's pretty specific. 5 words a week, but really knowing those words. I know you guys are like, only 20? Yes, but I'm talking about not only memorizing, but understanding them and being able to repeat them or recall them a month or 2 or 3 later. So the process of really learning 5 words a week, sentences, dialogue, stories, discussions, using those 5 words is really going to lock it in there. And when you're looking at the long-term life-changing goal of learning how to live in another language, then that's not a bad pace. 5 solid words that you can use every week. So specific, measurable. I said how many? 5 a week or 20 a month. That's very measurable, right? It's a certain amount. Specific, measurable, achievable means that it's possible, very possible to do it. It has to be achievable. You don't need to be discouraged. You need to be encouraged. So knowing you can accomplish it will encourage you. Trying and trying and trying and falling short, trying and trying and trying and failing and failing discourages you. Encouraging you is to have specific, measurable, achievable goals often. Now, you can increase them if you feel like that was too easy. I'll learn 6 words a week. That's fine, as long as you're meeting your goal. And then realistic, or other definitions of this say related. So realistic meaning, again, it's achievable, but I like to say R for related, meaning relative to your big goal. Make sure you're not getting way over here, right? You have to stay on course when you're driving a car or steering a boat or flying a plane. You have to constantly check and make sure you're on the appropriate coordinates so you arrive at the destination. But the whole way you're flying, you're doing small changes, small things, small things, small things. So achieving your bigger goals is about achieving your smaller goals. Specific, measurable, achievable, relative or realistic, and timely, time bound, time sensitive. Give yourself a limit. So I said the goal would be 20 words a month. I was specific, meaning that with those 20 words, we're going to know how to use them in sentences, in vocabulary, in dialogue, in stories, right? You're really going to know them.
Uh,
And then measurable, yeah, go ahead.
yes.
You're okay, you're okay.
No. As for me, I set a goal per week. Like I need to shadowing 5 times a week, and each time I will practice it for nearly 1 hour. But just I finish this goal, that's done. I don't know I whether I am actually master this knowledge. So after your introduction, after your method teaching to us, I know I need to be more specific to my goals. Yeah.
Good, good. And that's part of the process, guys, is refining the process. You'll become conditioned to perform well if you refine the process. You know, exercising is something I use a lot because many people can relate to it. And now that I'm older, I realize how much harder I was working when I was younger, but I wasn't working smarter. Now I know my body better. I know how I learn and grow physically, and I can achieve better results faster because I know how I work. I know what I need to do. I know that it doesn't take me lifting huge amounts of weight to grow. I know it doesn't take me doing multiple reps and making sounds at the gym to grow. I know that it just takes time under tension for my muscle to finally strain. It's not as exciting as throwing it up and down, but if I keep it under tension and my body has to balance and cooperate, then I'm tearing my muscle. If I give myself rest and I eat my protein, then I will have results. I already know that, but this is 25 years after I started working out. So you learn these things that I don't even have a gym membership anymore. I do most things in my room, in my house. And a young man would think that it's not possible, but it is. And so the same thing with your learning process. You worked very hard in high school and in college, but looking back, you're going to see that you used a lot of energy and a lot of time instead of working smarter. And that's the thing, is in order for you to achieve your goals, you have to work smarter. And so that's why we try to help you guys. Many of you that I talk with, when I hear your English and when I learn of what you've been through in your schooling, I can quickly see that you're intelligent. And I'm not flattering you guys. I'm just saying that you're in touch with your mental acuity. You're in touch with how your brain works. So your vocabulary might be limited, but I'm aware that if I can connect with your intelligence and you follow the things that I'm suggesting, many times people will grow faster than they think. When you're an adult and you have a spouse and you have children and you work a job, you can't even think about doing the things you used to do in high school and college. You're like, I don't have time. I don't have time. So don't frustrate yourself. You don't need all the time you needed when you were in college. You were just working hard, but now you can work smarter. If you do it consistently, you do it the right way, you refine it, you don't have to spend 8 hours a day learning something to achieve it. So that's what we're trying to figure out with you guys in these get togethers. Sometimes we have fun, and there's still a learning component to having fun. And other times we go a little deeper in subjects like we will in this one. So, any other questions, Carmen? The floor is yours. You've been so much help today, so much help.
Is there any question for the audience?
Yeah. So, guys, you can time bound. The T, Stephanie, is for timely, time bound. It means putting a time limit on that SMART goal. Yeah, you guys are very active in the chat today. I hope you're connecting with each other. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
How to improve my English so fast?
Yeah, that's a common question. So, Reem, it depends on too many variables. It depends on your goals. It depends on your learning ability. It depends on how much time you're willing to dedicate to it. Of course, in light of what I just said, it depends on how refined your study techniques are and proven. There's too many variables. But we're getting ready to close out. I see you there, Noi. I might bring you up though. And we can bring up George also. But after this round, guys, I'm going to have to close it because I have a 3-hour commitment, and then I can get back and take a nap. So I invited a couple of
Johnathan,
people.
how are you? Hello,
Good. How are you,
Carmen.
George?
It's pretty good. How's it going?
It's going well. It's going well. We don't have much time. I'm on the way
Okay,
out.
okay,
So
I got it.
if you have questions for me, that would be great, or
Uh,
questions for Carmen, or about the process, so that we can
yeah,
make your time useful.
okay. Recently I will face the one of the challenges about the English and how do you have the suggested about the daily life, right daily life? I don't know how to use the English.
A question about what?
Sorry.
It's okay. Take your time.
Right.
Take your time.
Um, I don't know. I don't know how to say how.
I'll say it in Chinese. Maybe Carmen knows.
OK，就是怎么用中文怎么用英文去写这个写作呢？就是写这个，我不太懂如何去写作，就是写这个英文的方式。
Oh,
对
how to practice writing in English? Practice,
Oh, how to practice writing.
yeah.
哦，
That's a
对
good
，practice
one.
writing，right？
No, you probably said it correctly. Maybe I wasn't listening. So, do you mean listening to English and writing it, or just shaping the letters and stuff like that? What do you mean by writing? Like composing
哦
letters
哦
or emails?
边听边
哦
自说
，OK
做那种。
OK，I got it. That's good.
No,
So
no, it was a question. You can't get
you
it.
you you
It was a
say
question.
you say the blind the right what you hear about the English.
Well, is that what you're trying to do? Is trying to write what you're hearing? Or are
Mm-hmm.
you just trying to compose letters? Or what is your goal? What do you mean by you need help writing? What do you mean by that?
Okay, my goal is influence to
Hmm.
understand what does it meaning. Yeah. So
Okay.
yeah, I think so I have I just wonder how many languages do you speak?
No, I'm not impressive at all, guys. I only speak English, and
Okay.
I know phrases in a couple, in a lot of languages I know one or two phrases because I can imitate the phrases I've heard, but I don't have the thought process in any other language, guys. Only in
Oh,
English. So
okay.
yeah, don't think I wish I were a polyglot because I admire them. They're amazing. But I discovered my desire to connect with people too late in life. I don't want to spend time developing that. But let's welcome Noi. Noi, you're here, and thank you for just sifting in. I'm going to get back to George's question. I don't like people to be on stage without welcoming them. So, hi, Noi, can you hear us?
Hi, Mr. Johnathan. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing great. Thank you. Sorry, we were involved in trying to find out his goal, but you're doing okay? But are you doing
Yeah,
okay? Everything okay with you? Okay.
everything okay. I'm pretty good.
Awesome. Awesome. I'm glad you raised your hand. So guys, there's something called um, transcribing. Have you ever heard that before? Transcribing, transcribing, or transcription. This is a very useful tool in writing down what you're hearing, writing down in
Okay.
English what you're hearing,
Okay.
transcribing. It's a useful
Okay.
tool because if you ask someone to send you phrases in English, like if you were asked me to send you audio clips of things you might say in a coffee shop or something like that, then you would push play and listen and then write down what you think I'm saying. And then listen again and check yourself. And then you can hit the transcribe button on Hello Talk and it will turn my audio into words. And you can check yourself to see if you got the idea of what I was saying. After you see that you did write down the basic idea of what I was saying, you can then correct your sentence structure and you can correct your word forms based on what the text is that Hello Talk gives you that I said. And this is very useful, guys, because the first time you listen, you don't know what I'm going to say. And then I say it and you write it down and try to capture it. But then you correct yourself with using the transcription. WeChat has transcribing also. And then a day later, you go back and listen to the same audio. Now, of course, guys, you just corrected it yesterday, but what you're doing is reinforcing. And you will find that when you write down the second day, the things that you hear, you write it with correct punctuation, you write it with the correct forms of the words. So you're going to reinforce what you hear and how it's written by doing that over and over again. So this is the way you can acquire listening comprehension better. And I did it on a series of videos with Doris Wu. If you ever see Doris Wu in here, she and I did some live videos together on YouTube where she asked the same question and we went through the process together and she saw how it worked and she felt improvement over the 3 or 4 times we got together. I know YouTube is not available in China, but I have the videos somewhere. Maybe I can post them in our WeChat group or something. And it's not edited. It's just me and Doris and I for 1 hour going through this process, and we did it 4 times. So I would practice transcribing, guys, to make the connection between what you hear and how it's written. Does that make sense?
Mm. Okay. Okay, I will try.
Yeah, give it a try.
But
And like I said, you guys can,
I have a
yeah.
question.
Oh, go ahead. Okay.
Well, actually, I can differ the pronunciation if someone from England and American say in words, uh, maybe it is called American accent and English British or
Mm-hmm.
Australian accent maybe, and it's difficult for me to understand if they are talking about something just like in American we say water and in English British they say water, and I sometimes couldn't understand in other words. Can you explain how to maybe to more understand about what you're saying?
Well, I mean, it's adaptability. So we have a lot of accents in the United States. I would say to stick to the same person or a couple of people until your brain has a library of recognizing words from that person or those maybe 2 or 3 people. The more variables you have, the longer your process of retaining what's being said is going to take, right? But once you have a library from people that it's easy for you to listen to, then when you hear it in English or British English, or you'll understand most of what they're saying. But they have different idioms, different slang. The first time I went to England, I wasn't sure they were speaking English. And that's where it comes from. I went to Portsmouth, England when I was like 18 years old, and someone came up to me and said, "Hey, mate, you got a fag?" And I'm like, "What?" He was asking for a cigarette, and a cigarette is called a FAG, a fag. It's called a cigarette. But at the time, that was a negative term for other people. And so when he said it, I thought he was challenging me or calling me something, but he was asking if I had a cigarette. But the way he said it, I couldn't understand his English. And I looked at my friends like, but of course, English came from England. So they are the originators, and I'm the imposter. So I have to adapt to their accent and to their way. So you're not alone. People from Australia have different ways of saying things. But if you want to develop your English first, I would do it with a consistent people on TED Talks or live streamers or whatever. And then you can start to compare. But you're right. Where I'm from in Philadelphia, they don't say water or water. They say wooder, like it's made out of wood. And it's not, but they say wooder. Give me a glass of wooder. And I think it's horrible. It sounds terrible, but that's how they say it. So you just have to adapt as you go, guys. And again, we're going over, we went over it today. Carmen was very helpful, and Candy at several slides about the process of learning. And so we might make this some installments where we can go a little deeper on each part of the process. And you guys can hear what you're doing well, and you might hear a process and go, I'm not really using that process in my learning. Maybe I should try it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jonathan, I have 2 questions for you. And so, first one, and how do you balance in your life? Because you you look pretty good. And next one, and what do you think about try to chat with Chat GDP, even though it's useful? Okay.
The first one was easy. Thank you. I would say it's genetics, but my dad didn't do too well aging, but I'm not sure, guys. Honestly, I don't know. Sure. Everybody has uh, things in their DNA or in their lives that are automatic. And, we're grateful for things that are automatic. And then we have some things that are challenging. And I don't know how, guys, honestly. I don't have a very good balance. I'm a little bit spontaneous, and my work schedule doesn't support balance because my days change right now at the job I'm doing. So I don't have a real solid answer for that. I just think as I got older, I got wiser and from learning. So I just do
Okay.
things differently. But the second one is something I'm really passionate about, and I'm going to try to slow down because
Oh,
I like people a lot. I think people are all amazing. All of you guys are really amazing. The more I learn about you, the more you share. Each person is like a rare gem. I mean, there's so many different combinations within you, your abilities, your gifts, your passions, your personality. And I like to get to know people in general. No
mhm.
romantic ties at all for it doesn't nothing. It's just genuinely I'm passionate about people. And so um, you know, ChatGPT is very useful
Mhm.
in many ways. It's amazing. It's way better than Google and all that stuff. It's amazing. It's very intuitive. I use it, I mean that in the strongest sense of the word. I use it like a slave, like
Mm.
something that I don't care about. I just want it to do something for me, right? And I use that heavy terminology because it needs to be kept in its place in my life. I can't fix it for the world because the world's going to do what the world's going to do. But the more we replace people, the less we're going to relate to people. the more challenges we're going to have with people. And learning how to build a relationship and interact and communicate with humans is a long-term challenging process, but it's very rewarding. You know, people
Mm.
need each other. So when I hear students that say they're practicing with conversations with ChatGPT, it's another heavy word, but I think it's based on laziness and fear. I think it's based on laziness and fear. They're afraid, and they're not willing to apply themselves to develop a connection with another person that's a student, whether it's time zones or you're not available or I don't understand you, or all of those variables are something we need to overcome in life. And so ChatGPT is going to teach you how to talk to a computer, no
Right.
matter how human they sound. You're going to be more and more afraid of talking to people because people have variables, people have unknowns, people have challenging personalities, and computers don't. So, if you want to learn how to have better relationships with people, how to communicate and connect with people, you've got to do it with people. You know, it's like children these days saying that they're going to become the number one basketball player by playing PlayStation. You would all start laughing. You're like, that's not the same thing. Learning how to play takes a certain skill, but it is not the same as spending hours and hours and hours playing like that and then playing with people that bump you and jab you and try to block you. It's different. It's completely different. So I can't endorse using ChatGPT as any form of useful, transferable skill or gift to actually working with people. So I know some would argue that. I know, but it's I've got the microphone, so I'm gonna say my part. And people are worth the time to get to know them. People are worth it. A lot of the conflicts we have in the world today, and in people having bad experiences in relationship, are because they don't know how to communicate well with each other. There's misunderstandings, and so they get offended easily, and they don't stay committed to building that relationship. They'd rather change people. So, you can't just switch people. So, again, I tried to keep it minimum, guys. It's a passion for mine because I think people are amazing. You guys are all amazing, and you're worth me taking the time to figure you out. So, figure people out, get a live partner or two. There's thousands of people on Hello Talk that want to talk with people. Just figure it out. Work your schedules
Mm.
out. Spend some time together. Find an awesome person and practice your English. I think in the long run, your English will be a lot more engaging than if you use the shortcut. All right, I'll drop the mic right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. Agree that with that. And so thank you to explanation for ChatGPT. This is
Yeah,
yes, this is a fantastic app app. Right. So it's amazing. It's artificial technology, and so yeah, I'm a fan. Uh, in a ChatGPT. So when I will
yeah.
have any question, yeah, I will just I just try. I was trying to chat with ChatGPT in English, but you know sometimes when you are um, not more practice speak English, you 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 you're on the stage and you're thinking about how can I describe about this sentences. I forgot. Yeah, maybe you have because I'm Chinese person, so first one Chinese mind.
Right.
Don't don't think about English mind. But so what do you think about Chinese mind between English mind? What is most different? So what do you think?
I can answer that briefly, but I want to get to Noi, and I'm out of time, so
Okay.
we're gonna start to wrap it up.
Okay.
The Chinese mind has changed with modernization, so the new
Mm.
generations don't think like the old generations, and I think that's necessary for modernization, but it's really sad because a lot of the peaceful, reflective way of thinking of China's past has created a people that are known for being peaceable and focused and able to process things from a philosophical viewpoint. It's really cool. But the modern generations have given that up because it's not efficient. So they don't reflect as much. Yeah, so it's kind of going through evolution. But and you're welcome to join us again, George. But let me get over to Noi and ask Carmen for any final things as well. Noi, do you have a question? I will answer you a little bit longer because you've been so patient. But I'm trying to wrap it up here.
Really enjoy you